3 of the top 5 builds in Path of Exile right now are the same class. Not the same skill, the same class. Week 2 of Curse of the Allflame, and the Witch has quietly taken over. One ascendancy climbed 2 places, one fell out of the top 5 completely, and that one's mine. If you're thinking about re-rolling, this is that video. If you haven't started yet, even better. Week 2 is the cheapest time to pick right, and one of these 5 is very good news for anyone whose reaction times have quietly retired. Here's the plan: 3 snapshots so you can see what actually moved, and then all 5 with the real reason each one is where it is, and at the end 3 straight answers. Re-roll into this, start fresh as that, or stay put. Let's go. This is the shape of the league so far. Trade League, top 5 ascendancies, 3 snapshots. Elementalist has been number 1 since the servers came up, and it's still number 1. 33% on day 1, 26 at week 1, 20 now. It's lost a third of its share and it still hasn't lost the top spot, which tells you how far ahead it started. Occultist is the climber. It wasn't in the top 5 at all on day 1, 4th at week 1, 2nd now at 12. Luminary went 2nd, then 5th, then back up to 3rd. A full round trip in a fortnight. That is not random, and we'll come to why. Chieftain has sat at 9% for 2 weeks and gone absolutely nowhere, which, as you'll see, is the entire point of Chieftain. And Necromancer left the top 5 and came back with Tutututitio with a completely different skill. Now the bit I actually want you to take away: Elementalist is a witch, Occultist is a witch, Necromancer is a witch. That's 1st, 2nd, and 5th. Add them up and it's 41% of the trade league sitting in one class. Chieftain's a marauder, Luminary's a scion. Those are the only 2 seats at this table that aren't witch. And the engine underneath most of it is one skill. Winter Orb. It's the top skill on the number 1 ascendancy and the number 2 ascendancy at the same time. Here's where I think people are getting it wrong though. Everyone's saying Winter Orb is falling off because its share on Elementalist collapsed from 53% to 28%. It didn't fall off, it moved house. So, number 1, Elementalist 20%, top skill Winter Orb at 28. Elementalist isn't a build, it's a chassis. Shaper of Flames, your hits always ignite. Shaper of Storms, always shock. Shaper of Winter, always chill. And Heart of Destruction gives you convergence for hitting a rare or a unique. 30% more elemental damage. Notice what's missing from that list: a damage type. Not one of those cares which element you picked, and not one of them names a skill. That's why its top skill share fell from 53 to 28 without it budging off 1st place. Nobody left Elementalist, they just stopped all playing the same thing on it. So who's this for? You want to pick your skill later, or change your mind at level 70 without re-rolling. Who's it not for? If you want to be told exactly what to press, this is the wrong door. Elementalist gives you options, and options are work. Number 2. And this is the re-roll pick. Occultist, 12% up from 8, and 62% of them are running Winter Orb. 62. On Elementalist it's 28, more than twice as concentrated. Winter Orb is a channeled cold spell. Hold the button. Build stages, the orb throws projectiles. Now look at 4 Occultist notables. Frigid Wake, 15% more cold damage. Void Beacon. Nearby enemies have 20% less cold resistance. Vile Bastion. You cannot be stunned while you have energy shield. And getting stunned mid-channel is how you lose your stages, which is how Winter Orb characters die. And Unhallowed Rite gives you spirit infusion every half second while you're channeling. Not casting, channeling. There's a node on this ascendancy that only fires on the exact thing this skill does. Who's it for? You already like Winter Orb and you want the grown-up version of it. If you rolled it on Elementalist and it's starting to feel thin in maps, this is where that build goes next. That's not a coincidence. That's 62% of people finding the same door. 3rd, and this one's a comeback, Luminary, 10% up from 8, back up to 3rd from 5th. If you watched my last video, you already know why. On the 31st, 329.1 shipped all 8 outstanding mercenary commitments. All 8. The big one was the damage penalty. Permanently hired mercenaries used to take a flat damage cut always. Now it tapers in. No penalty at all below level 45, maximum at 83. The whole campaign is free. I said at the time that patch was aimed squarely at the Luminary. This is the first snapshot taken after it landed. second to fifth to third, draw your own conclusion. Mine is that it worked. Now the honest part, Luminary's most played skill is Animate Guardian at 8%. 8. That's the lowest top skill number on the board. On Chieftain it's 74. That's not a weak class, that's a class nobody's agreed the purpose of yet. The draw is unique items. Legendary Arms lets your mercenary equip unique weapons and shields, and gives them 8% more damage for every unique they're wearing. Then gloves, helmets, boots, rings, amulets, belts, so it's for people who enjoy building a second character more than playing the first one. I've spent more time gearing my mercenary than gearing myself. He looks magnificent. I look like something you'd find abandoned in standard. Fourth, Chieftain, 9%, Righteous Fire on 74% of them. Chieftain has not moved in 2 weeks, and I mean that as a compliment. Righteous Fire is a damage over time aura. You turn it on, then you walk. No rotation, no combo, no window you have to hit. I get about 90 minutes a night, usually after bedtime, usually on my second wind. My reaction times are not what they were, and I've stopped pretending otherwise. Righteous Fire doesn't care. Righteous Fire kills things while I'm still deciding what I'm doing. And Chieftain is built for it to an almost silly degree. Tesalio makes your fire resistance apply to cold and lightning at half value. Valaco does the same for your maximums. Ramako strips fire resistance off nearby enemies against damage over time while you're standing still. And Righteous Fire is damage over time, and you are standing still. Best part, you can have it at level 16 as a vendor purchase from Yina in Act 2. Cheapest entry on this list by a mile. Who's it for? Anyone starting today? Anyone tired? Anyone who'd like to watch television with one eye? This is the pick. Fifth, Necromancer, 9%. Back in after missing week 1 completely, and it came back with a different skill. Day 1, the top skill on Necromancer was Absolution. Now it's Raised Spectre at 24%. The ascendancy is what it's always been, and it's still ridiculous. Mindless aggression, minions get 20% more life and deal 10% more damage. Unnatural strength gives every minion unholy might. And bone barrier hands you up to 10% extra physical damage reduction just for having them out, then leeches their damage back to you as life. Your minions are your damage and your defense at the same time. As for what changed this week, here's the fact, do what you like with it. 3.29.1 made coursing current support work with minions and fixed the bug stopping Velka dropping it at all. It's a level 72 gem, and week 2 is about when people get there. I'm not going to tell you one support gem moved an ascendancy back into the top 5. I don't know that. Who's it for? You want the game less twitchy, but Righteous Fire sounds boring. Specters are the middle ground. Right, 3 straight answers. If you're re-rolling, Occultist, it's the only one of the 5 that climbed on the strength of a skill people are already playing, and 62% agreement is the market telling you it works. If you're starting fresh today from nothing, Righteous Fire Chieftain, level 16 entry, a vendor gem, and it asks almost nothing of your hands. And if you're already having fun, stay, genuinely stay. Which brings me to the bit I've been putting off. Slayer is not in the top 5 anymore. 3rd on day 1, 3rd at week 1, now nowhere. And I play Elemental Hit Slayer. I have a claw that ate an entire week of my life. I checked 3 times, it's not the spreadsheet. And I'm not re-rolling, because here's the thing about a percentage. It tells you what other people picked. It doesn't tell you whether you're enjoying yourself. Nobody's build got weaker this week. A lot of people just finished leveling and swapped to what they'd planned all along. That's what a top 5 list measures. So use this to pick a first character or to fix one you actively dislike. Don't abandon a character you're enjoying because a chart went down. That's week 2. A Witch League, a Winter Orb engine, Occultist if you're re-rolling, Chieftain if you're starting today, and my own ascendancy quietly deleted from the board. I'm a small content creator trying to make better content, and if you want in on that, a like, a subscribe, or a comment helps more than you think. Tell me what you're playing and whether you're re-rolling. I read all of them. Week 3, same time. See you in the next one.